What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new video, so let's get into it. So guys, in today's video we're going to be talking about Max Payne and the Max Payne franchise. And the question of the day is, where is Max Payne 4? So let's talk about it. So guys, the Max Payne series is one of the very first games that I ever played on the original Xbox and has been an absolute passion of mine over the years as one of my favorite franchises ever. And so I want to talk today about the future of Max Payne, what we can do to try to get a Max Payne 4 made, and where Max Payne 4 is currently. So I took some screenshots of an article that came out from VGR, and the article was written by Matt Morgans. And this article was titled, "Will Rockstar or Remedy Ever Make Max Payne 4?" So one of Remedy Entertainment's early successes, the Max Payne series, has a very good reputation and high review scores on every installment. Nonetheless, poor sales almost ended the series after its second game, and despite the success of Rockstar Games' Max Payne 3, the franchise hasn't made a comeback since. Will fans ever see a Max Payne 4, or did the series come to an end in 2013? The original Max Payne was developed by Remedy Entertainment and released all the way back in 2001. The game received highly positive reviews from most outlets and won several awards. It even won a BAFTA for Best PC Game of 2001. With such accolades and praise, it was inevitable that the game would get a sequel. Max Payne 2: The Fall of Max Payne launched 2 years later in 2003. While Max Payne 2 was also well received by reviewers, it was something of a flop when it came to sales. The game's sales were so poor, in fact, that Take-Two Interactive, Rockstar's parent company, cited the game as the reason why their 2004 financial forecast was reduced. One of several reasons why the company lost around $110 million in 2014. After the apparent failure of Max Payne 2, the franchise went dormant. Remedy Entertainment's next game, Alan Wake, didn't see release until 2010. Meanwhile, Rockstar Studios turned to Red Dead Revolver, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and other subsequent titles. Remedy Entertainment didn't return to Max Payne, but Rockstar eventually did. Max Payne 3 is the sole work of Rockstar Studios and saw release in 2012. True to form for the series, Max Payne 3 received very positive reviews. Unlike its predecessor, however, it also sold extremely well. Despite its success, the franchise has since returned to a state of dormancy. Almost 7 years later have passed since the release of Max Payne 3 with no news of a fourth title. Of course, there was a 9-year gap between Max Payne 2 and Max Payne 3, so a fourth installment isn't impossible. However, it's certainly looking increasingly unlikely. The problem may lie in the game's format, a format which has perhaps been somewhat outmoded by a changing video game industry. So guys, I want to talk about this specific part of the article to start here. And so a lot of this, guys, I want to take you back here to when I started playing Max Payne 1. Absolutely, I mean, it took my breath away the way that the story was written, as well as like the narrative, the overall story of Max Payne was so well developed in my opinion, and I thought it had such a gritty, dark story. It felt so real to me when I was playing, and I was a lot younger back then, obviously, but it left imprints on me forever, and it's something that I definitely wanted and was excited to see the sequel of a Max Payne 2, which Max Payne 2, in my opinion, definitely was a step back from the first Max Payne. Even though it was still good, it still, had certain things about certain things about the second one were still good, and the story was, it was okay, but it was more so a step back from Max Payne 1. Then you get to Max Payne 3, and Max Payne 3, guys, was, in my opinion, a great addition to the series, even though I thought that it was better than the second game. I didn't think it was as good as the original, but I thought that they were making some good progress forwards as far as adding multiplayer. Of course, the bullet time and all of that was just getting updated, getting better and better as we went. And so that's where I think it kind of left off is there's this dormancy within the franchise. Now, here's the thing, is that currently, Rockstar Games, it sounds like, is working on Bully 2, which Bully 2, of course, came out before Max Payne 3, and so I would assume that Bully 2 is the next game that's kind of up next, and after Bully 2, I would say most likely Max Payne 4 is the game that they very well may be developing. However, there is a chance that they aren't actually working on it, and they are waiting to hear more from the fan base, and so we as fans, if you're a fan of Max Payne, we have to be the ones echoing this game into existence, telling Rockstar that we want a Max Payne 4. And I will tell you guys, I certainly want a Max Payne 4. I would love to see Max Payne 4 made. I think it's just an incredible franchise. It's got such a good story to it, and I would love to see them kind of continue the franchise in a way in which I'd love to see it go back to New York City. I know they kind of changed things up in Max Payne 3, but I would love to see it go back to New York City. There's a lot that they could do. But moving on to where Max Payne 4 is, the ending of Max Payne 3 did feel an appropriate end to the story for most fans. A Max Payne 4 wouldn't necessarily have to continue the same story, of course, but it would have to find a way to justify continuing it. The biggest obstacle facing the potential development of Max Payne 4, however, may actually be its owners. Take-Two Interactive purchased the intellectual property rights to the franchise in its early days. Currently, Take-Two Interactive has several different developers under their control: 2K Marin, Firaxis Games, Hangar 13 Visual Concepts, Ghost Story Games, Rockstar Games, and Social Point. Rockstar don't seem to have any intention of continuing Max Payne, but could Take-Two task another studio with reviving the franchise. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with the statement that Rockstar doesn't seem to have any intention of continuing Max Payne, because as we know, Rockstar, guys, they take their time with making their games. So I would say that a lot of it is like kind of in a cycle. It took a long time to see Red Dead Redemption 2. We finally saw that. Now we very well may see a Bully 2. We might even see Max Payne 4 come out before Bully 2. It's very hard to say. I would say with the recent leaks of a Bully 2, that's most likely going to be the next game that comes out. But I would say after that, maybe GTA 6, but Max Payne is still a very strong brand for Rockstar. I would have to think that they will continue the Max Payne franchise. They just need us as fans to tell them, and we need to become the voice of Max Payne 4. 2K Marin's current status is unclear. The studio responsible for BioShock 2 was struck by major layoffs in 2013 and effectively shut down. However, 2K Games said in 2014 that the studio is still active and that future BioShock titles would be developed there. Unfortunately, this seems increasingly doubtful with each passing year. The next option, Firaxis Games, seems an unlikely fit for Max Payne. The studio is responsible for developing the Civilization and XCOM series, after all. Visual Concepts 2 is not the sort of studio to continue the franchise. The studio solely develops sports titles like NBA, NHL, and WWE. Finally, Social Point is a studio which specializes in free-to-play mobile titles. That leaves Hangar 13 and Ghost Story Games. Here, there might be some possibility of resurrecting Max Payne. Ghost Story Games is the new name of Irrational Games, following its near collapse in 2014 and rebranding in 2017. It's currently unknown what Ken Levine and his team are working on. However, given their history with SWAT and BioShock, Max Payne 4 could be a remote possibility, although fairly unlikely. Instead, the best chance for the franchise's future may lie with Hangar 13. This new studio's sole released game is Mafia 3, a game with more than a few thematic similarities with Max Payne. Although the likelihood of Max Payne rising from the grave of franchise dormancy seems sadly slim at this point, perhaps Take-Two will hand the IP to Hangar 13 at some point in the future to revive the franchise into the current gaming age. So the article overall, guys, I do see partially where they're coming from with it. However, I would say, guys, that there's a couple of things here. One, I would absolutely love to see Ken Levine, who of course is, the mastermind of BioShock. I would love to see them get the Max Payne IP and they're able to kind of work with it. But I really do believe, guys, that Rockstar Games is going to be working on a Max Payne 4. It's just up to us to actually echo that into existence and tell Rockstar that we want a Max Payne 4. The other thing is that if you really think about it, Bully 2, you look at the numbers and everything, Max Payne 3 did pretty good when it came to sales. a Bully game, not saying that that's not going to be good, but I would assume that when you see what Rockstar, the kind of direction they're moving in, they're moving into that, you know, that GTA Online. They're really big into the online stuff. So GTA Online, Red Dead Online, why can't you have Max Payne Online? Because they already did online with Max Payne 3. So I would definitely say that a Max Payne 4 could add, you know, a Max Payne Online game mode in which obviously there could be endless amounts of opportunity there. And I wouldn't be surprised if Rockstar decides to do that with Bully. They decide to do it with Max Payne. If they want to, you know, continue to decide to create stories around these games, and then of course after, you know, doing the campaigns, also doing the multiplayers, because it seems like that's the way that Rockstar is really enjoying and also just making a lot of money right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did that with Max Payne, creating a Max Payne 4 but also having the Max Payne Online. I would say, guys, that if we echo this thing into existence, it certainly can happen. We just got to be the ones who are voicing our opinion and being the voice of a Max Payne 4. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys want to see a Max Payne 4? Did Max Payne 3 do enough for you guys as far as the story's concerned? All I can tell you is that I want to see this franchise continued. I think there's just so much lore and story there. I want to see it continued. But let me know what you guys think. Subscribe if you're new. Stay positive. And as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.